Lily sat on her small, sunlit balcony, her fingers wrapped around a warm mug of coffee. The early morning air carried the faint scent of blooming jasmine, but she barely noticed it. Her phone buzzed on the wooden table, and she reached for it lazily, expecting another routine message. But when she saw Hannah's name flash on the screen, a knot of unease twisted in her stomach. She unlocked her phone and read the words, "Your son won't fit in at SeaWorld." The kids had been planning this for months. Lily's hands trembled slightly as she reread the message. She couldn't understand it at first. Was this a joke? Surely Hannah couldn't mean that Ethan, her sweet, shy 8-year-old, wasn't welcome at a family outing. She felt a sudden sting of hurt, sharper than anything she had expected. The words seemed to echo in her mind, repeating like a bad song. Her chest tightened as memories of her childhood with Hannah surfaced. They had been close once, sharing secrets and laughter, but over the years, small disagreements had grown into silent walls. Lily tried to shake off the feelings, telling herself it was probably a misunderstanding. Maybe Hannah didn't mean it that way. But deep down, a small voice whispered that it wasn't a mistake. Her mind raced with questions she didn't want to ask aloud. She pictured Ethan bouncing around with excitement, his small backpack slung over one shoulder, dreaming about the animals and rides at SeaWorld. The thought of him being left out made Lily's stomach churn. She hated the idea of her son feeling rejected, of him thinking he wasn't good enough to join in. Tears pricked at the corners of her eyes, but she blinked them away stubbornly. She wouldn't cry yet, she needed clarity first. Lily's mind jumped from one thought to another. She wondered if the kids had really been planning something for months. Maybe it was a surprise meant to be small and private. Maybe she was overthinking it. But the phrasing of Hannah's message felt so cold, so definite. Won't fit in. The words rang louder than she wanted them to. She felt a surge of protectiveness toward Ethan, mingled with anger and confusion. She wanted to call Hannah immediately, demand an explanation, but she hesitated. She didn't want to start a fight before understanding the situation. She glanced around the quiet apartment, the walls adorned with pictures of Ethan's small victories and happy moments. A smile tugged at her lips for a second as she thought of his messy birthday parties and endless curiosity about animals. How could anyone say he didn't fit in? She felt a wave of guilt, wondering if she had failed to prepare him somehow or missed signs she should have noticed. Lily shook her head, trying to push the guilt aside. Ethan had done nothing wrong. This wasn't his fault. Minutes passed, each one stretching longer than the last. Lily picked up the phone again, staring at the message as if it might change its tone on its own. She tried to imagine the scenario at SeaWorld, Hannah's kids laughing together, planning something she wasn't part of, and Ethan standing aside, unsure where he belonged. Her chest ached with the thought. She wanted to protect him from disappointment, but she also knew that overprotecting him could make things worse. She needed a plan. Lily's mind wandered to past family outings, recalling the small joys and subtle tensions. She remembered birthday parties, picnic trips, and late-night talks with Hannah. There had always been love, but sometimes love was complicated, tangled with expectations and misunderstandings. She realized that this moment was another test of patience and empathy, both for herself and for Hannah. She took a deep breath, trying to steady the swirl of emotions inside her. Her thoughts turned to Ethan again, imagining his excitement for the trip. She couldn't let him feel less than the other kids. She made a silent promise to herself that she would find a way to include him, somehow, even if it meant walking a delicate line. She would handle this carefully, gently, without letting her hurt show too much. The idea gave her a small sense of control in the chaos of emotions that threatened to overwhelm her. As she sat there, phone in hand, Lily realized that the real challenge wasn't the SeaWorld trip itself, but how she would navigate the hurt, the misunderstandings, and the unspoken tensions between her and Hannah. She knew she needed to act soon, to clarify and negotiate without letting anger take over. But for now, she simply sat and breathed, holding on to the hope that the morning sun, the gentle breeze, and her love for Ethan would guide her through the uncertainty of what lay ahead. Lily paced back and forth in her living room, the early morning sunlight casting long shadows across the floor. Her mind was tangled in knots of worry and frustration. She kept replaying Hannah's words in her head, "Your son won't fit in at SeaWorld." Each time she heard them, A deeper ache settled in her chest. Why would Hannah exclude Ethan? He was kind, thoughtful, and always eager to be part of the fun. Lily couldn't understand it. She sank onto the couch, her hands covering her face. Tears threatened to spill again, but she fought them back. This wasn't just about a trip to SeaWorld, it was about her son feeling left out, about the message it sent to him and to their family. She thought about Ethan's bright eyes, his excitement at every new adventure, and felt a pang of guilt. She had promised herself she would always protect him, but right now she felt powerless. Her thoughts drifted back to her own childhood. She remembered moments when she had felt left out, small slights that lingered longer than they should. The memories brought both sadness and clarity. She realized that the real hurt wasn't only about the trip, it was about exclusion, about being unseen. And Lily didn't want Ethan to carry that same feeling. Lily tried to think rationally. Maybe the kids' plans weren't meant to hurt Ethan. Maybe Hannah hadn't thought it through. But even the possibility of her son feeling rejected made her anxious. She considered calling Hannah immediately, but another part of her hesitated. She didn't want to escalate tensions or make things worse before understanding the full situation. She needed a plan, a way to approach the problem with care. Feeling restless, Lily reached for a notebook and began jotting down her thoughts. She wrote about Ethan's strengths, his kindness, and how much he looked forward to new experiences. She wrote about her fears, her anger, and her hope that she could find a solution that wouldn't hurt anyone. Writing helped her focus, giving her a sense of control amid the emotional chaos. She imagined what Ethan might feel if he discovered he wasn't part of the plan. Would he be embarrassed? Angry? Sad? The thought made Lily's heart ache. She knew she needed to be careful with her words, to shield him from unnecessary disappointment while also standing up for his place in the family. She promised herself she would find a way to make him feel included, no matter what. Lily's phone buzzed again, but it wasn't Hannah this time, it was a message from her friend Megan. "How's everything?" it read. Lily hesitated, then typed back slowly, pouring out some of her worry and confusion. Megan responded quickly, offering calm and practical advice. She reminded Lily to stay patient, to communicate clearly, and to remember that Ethan's feelings mattered most. The words brought a sense of relief, a small anchor in the storm of emotions. As the morning wore on, Lily felt a mixture of determination and anxiety. She knew that confronting Hannah would be necessary, but she also wanted to approach it with understanding and tact. She imagined different ways the conversation might go, weighing each one carefully. Her mind shifted between fear and hope, anger and empathy, always circling back to one thought: protecting Ethan and helping him feel loved and valued. By mid-morning, Lily had made a quiet decision. She would reach out to Hannah, but she would do so gently. She would explain how Ethan felt and why inclusion mattered. She would suggest a compromise that could allow him to join without ruining the surprise. Most importantly, she would prepare herself for whatever response came, keeping calm and thoughtful, because she knew that handling this with care would shape not just the trip, but the family's bond as well. With a deep breath, Lily sat back on the couch, looking at a photo of Ethan smiling widely at the zoo last summer. She felt a surge of love and protectiveness that strengthened her resolve. No matter the obstacles, no matter the misunderstandings, she would make sure her son knew he was valued, loved, and never truly left out. And with that thought, she felt a small, cautious hope that things could still turn out right. Lily couldn't stop thinking about Ethan and the SeaWorld trip. The morning had stretched into afternoon, but her mind was still tangled in worry. She felt the weight of the situation pressing on her chest. She needed someone to talk to, someone who could give her perspective without judgment. Without overthinking it, she picked up her phone and called her friend Megan. Megan answered almost immediately, her cheerful voice a small comfort. Lily hesitated for a moment, then let out a deep sigh and began explaining everything: Hannah's message, the kids' months-long planning, and her fear that Ethan would feel left out. She spoke quickly, emotions spilling over like a dam breaking, and Megan listened patiently, not interrupting, just letting Lily pour out her heart. When Lily paused, Megan spoke softly but firmly. "I can hear how much you care about Ethan. But remember, sometimes these things aren't meant to hurt. Maybe the kids had a small surprise in mind, and it wasn't about leaving him out." Her words made Lily think. Perhaps Megan was right. Maybe the intention wasn't cruel. But still, the thought of her son feeling excluded weighed heavily on her. Megan continued, offering practical advice. You know Ethan best. Talk to him first and see how he feels. Then, reach out to Hannah calmly and suggest a way to include him. You don't have to confront her angrily, just explain your feelings and ask for a solution. Lily nodded slowly, imagining how she could approach the situation without turning it into a fight. Megan's words gave her a plan, a way to channel her anxiety into action. After the call, Lily felt a mix of relief and renewed determination. She thought about Ethan's excitement for the trip and how she could prepare him gently so he wouldn't feel left out before the day even arrived. She pictured little ways to make him feel included, small gestures that could turn the disappointment into joy. Ideas flowed through her mind, planning a small surprise for him before joining the others, letting him have a special role during the day. She smiled faintly, feeling a spark of hope. She spent the rest of the afternoon reflecting on past experiences and family dynamics. Lily realized that these moments, although stressful, were opportunities to teach Ethan about resilience, communication, and handling disappointment with grace. She wanted him to see that even when things didn't go perfectly, love and thoughtfulness could make a difference. The thought comforted her, softening some of the anxiety she had carried all morning. As evening approached, Lily decided to write a message to Hannah. She carefully thought through her words, imagining how they would sound to her sister. She wanted to express concern for Ethan without accusing or blaming, to open a conversation that could lead to a solution. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, hesitating, as she tried to balance honesty and kindness. This moment felt delicate, like walking on a narrow bridge between frustration and understanding. Finally, Lily typed a short, respectful message. Hi Hannah, I know the kids have been planning something special, and I don't want to ruin it. I just want to check if there might be a way for Ethan to be part of it too. He would be really excited, and I don't want him to feel left out. She read it over, adjusting a few words, and then hit send. The small act gave her a sense of control and purpose, a way to protect Ethan without letting emotions take over. Later that evening, Lily sat with Ethan at the kitchen table, helping him with his homework. She tried to keep the atmosphere light, asking about his favorite animals and what he hoped to see at SeaWorld. She watched him smile and laugh, and a gentle warmth filled her heart. No matter what happened, she promised herself she would make sure he felt loved and included. And for the first time that day, she felt a flicker of hope that the SeaWorld surprise might turn out okay after all. The next morning, Lily woke with a mix of nerves and determination. Hannah hadn't replied to her message yet, and every minute of waiting made her stomach twist tighter. She tried to keep herself busy with chores, but her mind kept drifting back to the conversation she needed to have. She knew she had to be careful with her words, to approach the situation with calm and understanding, even though the thought of Ethan being left out made her heart ache. Finally, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Hannah. Lily's hands trembled slightly as she opened it. The reply was hesitant, almost apologetic. I didn't mean to upset you. The kids have been planning a small surprise and didn't think about inviting Ethan. It was supposed to be private. Lily read the words over and over. Relief mixed with lingering hurt. At least it wasn't malicious, but the thought that Ethan had been excluded, even unintentionally, stung. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself before typing a response. She wanted to protect Ethan without making Hannah feel attacked. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard as she carefully chose her words. I understand, and I know the kids meant well. Ethan will be excited to join too. Could we find a way to include him without spoiling the surprise for the other kids? She hit send and waited, her heart thudding in her chest. The response came after a few tense minutes. Hannah wrote, I guess we could figure something out. It won't be the same as the original plan, but I don't want Ethan to feel left out either. A small smile broke across Lily's face. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. She felt a mixture of relief and cautious optimism. She immediately thought about how to prepare Ethan gently, so he would feel included and special without overshadowing the other kids' plans. She knew it would require careful balance, but Lily was determined to make it work. Later, she called Hannah, hoping to discuss the details. Their conversation was tentative at first, filled with pauses and careful explanations. Lily expressed her concern for Ethan's feelings, and Hannah explained the kids' excitement and the thought that went into the small surprise. They brainstormed ideas, trying to find a compromise that would make everyone happy. Through the conversation, Lily realized how important it was to keep her tone calm and positive. Any hint of anger could escalate the situation, and she wanted Ethan to see love and cooperation in action. By the end of the call, they had agreed on a plan. Ethan would have a special experience just for him before joining the main group, ensuring he felt included and excited. After hanging up, Lily felt a weight lift from her shoulders. She smiled as she pictured Ethan's reaction, imagining the joy and wonder on his face. The tension that had gripped her for days began to ease. She knew there were still details to manage, but the first step had been taken. The confrontation had turned into a collaborative effort, a way to protect her son while respecting the other kids' plans. Lily looked around her living room, feeling a quiet sense of accomplishment. She had navigated her emotions, approached Hannah carefully, and found a solution that could work for everyone. The thought of the upcoming SeaWorld trip now carried a spark of excitement rather than anxiety. She felt ready to face the next challenge, preparing Ethan for the adventure, making sure he felt loved, included, and valued every step of the way. Lily spent the evening planning how to make Ethan feel special without disturbing the original surprise. She wanted him to experience joy and excitement, but she also wanted to respect the other kids' efforts. She scribbled ideas in her notebook, crossing out some, rewriting others, trying to find the perfect balance. She imagined little ways to make the day memorable for him, a small scavenger hunt, a special ride, or a unique snack treat he loved. The next morning, she quietly discussed her plan with Ethan over breakfast. She explained that the kids had a surprise planned, but she had something special just for him. Ethan's eyes lit up, and a wide grin spread across his face. The sparkle of excitement chased away any lingering worries from the past few days. Lily felt her heart swell. This was exactly the reaction she had hoped for. She prepared a small backpack with snacks, a water bottle, and a few animal-themed trinkets that Ethan loved. She told him they were little gifts to make the day extra fun, and he clutched them tightly, chattering excitedly about what they might find first. Lily watched him, her chest full of both pride and relief. She had managed to turn a potentially disappointing day into something joyful and memorable. Arriving at SeaWorld, Lily guided Ethan through the park with careful planning, ensuring he experienced his own adventure first. They rode a carousel, visited the dolphin exhibit, and even had a chance to feed the sea lions under Lily's watchful eye. With every smile and laugh, she felt the tension of the past week melt away. Ethan's joy was contagious, lifting her spirits as well. Later, they joined the other kids for the main surprise. Lily was careful to introduce Ethan gently, making sure he felt welcome and included. To her relief, the kids were enthusiastic and friendly, happy to share their excitement. Hannah gave Lily a small, understanding smile, acknowledging the compromise they had reached. It was a quiet moment of connection between the sisters, built on empathy and thoughtful planning. Throughout the day, Lily kept an eye on Ethan, noticing how happy and confident he was. She felt a deep sense of satisfaction, knowing that her efforts had paid off. The earlier anxiety and fear had transformed into moments of laughter, adventure, and connection. She realized that even difficult situations could be turned around with patience, creativity, and love. By the end of the day, Lily and Ethan were tired but elated. They had made memories that would last, strengthened by the small surprises and careful attention that made Ethan feel valued. Lily reflected on the experience, understanding that family dynamics could be complicated, but thoughtful planning and empathy could make even challenging moments positive. She felt proud of navigating the situation, ensuring Ethan felt included, and turning a potential disappointment into a day of joy and connection for both of them. As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow over SeaWorld, Lily watched Ethan with a heart full of gratitude and relief. He was tired, yes, but his eyes sparkled with happiness, and his laughter rang through the park like music. For the first time in days, Lily felt that sense of peace she had been longing for. The morning's worries seemed far away, replaced by the joy of seeing her son truly included. The other kids had enjoyed their surprise, and Ethan had seamlessly joined in, sharing smiles and excited chatter. Lily observed the little moments, the way Ethan's face lit up when a dolphin leapt from the water, how he eagerly pointed out his favorite animals, and how he held a special spot in the group without feeling overshadowed. She felt a quiet pride in how she had guided him through the situation, turning potential disappointment into joy. Later, as they walked back to the car, Lily held Ethan's hand and asked him about his favorite parts of the day. His answers tumbled out in a rush of excitement, and Lily listened intently, soaking in every detail. She realized that moments like these were more than just fun, they were opportunities to teach him about patience, empathy, and resilience. Ethan had learned that even when things seemed unfair or uncertain, love and understanding could help him navigate challenges. Driving home, Lily reflected on the events of the past few days. She thought about Hannah and the delicate balance of family dynamics, and she felt grateful that their communication had led to a solution rather than conflict. She understood that misunderstandings could happen, but with careful thought and open hearts, they could be resolved without hurt. The experience strengthened her belief in the importance of empathy and the power of listening, not just to words, but to feelings. That evening, as Ethan settled into bed, Lily tucked him in gently and whispered how proud she was of him. She promised that no matter what, he would always be seen, loved, and included. Ethan's sleepy smile was the perfect end to a day that had begun with anxiety but ended in connection and joy. Lily knew that the lessons from this day would stay with both of them for a long time. Sitting quietly in the dim light of Ethan's room, Lily allowed herself a deep breath, feeling both relief and fulfillment. The SeaWorld trip had started with uncertainty, but it ended with laughter, bonding, and a renewed sense of family. She realized that even in challenging moments, love, patience, and creativity could transform potential disappointment into a day full of happiness and memories. And with that thought, Lily finally let herself relax, knowing that Ethan's joy and their bond was what truly mattered.